What's up guys, Lou here, and today we're going to talk about the Moto X, more specifically the new Moto X, which I've been using as my daily driver since it launched. I wanted to give it a more extended kind of usage than the usual 2-week review cycle, so I could give you guys some feedback as a regular owner and less like a tech reviewer. I think sometimes it's easy to overlook certain things when you're churning out reviews of devices. So since this has been in my pocket, I feel like I'm qualified to tell you about my experiences. Some things I like, some things I dislike, so let's go ahead and get started. First and foremost, I like the OS. Many of you know that I've been a Nexus user for a very long time because I like the stock Android experience. Well, the Moto X gives you something very, very similar to the stock experience with a few little tweaks and, in my opinion, improvements. For example, you have a lock screen now, which gives you a little bit more information. You can get your notifications there, and it's very low power consumption. So you have not an always on screen, but it'll react to you if you're nearby or if you tap the screen. And then without turning the device all the way on, you can get your emails, you can get your tweets, you can get a various number of notifications without using a ton of power, while maintaining, like I said before, the design aesthetic that's synonymous with stock Android. You're also going to get a cool design, at least in my opinion, a cool and robust design. Many of you have probably seen this device featured in the bend test videos, and it is one of the toughest that I tested with this metal band that goes around the outside. There's another interesting design choice here on this side here where the buttons are. They chose a different texture on the power button, and I absolutely love that because when you're holding it in your hand, you get a certain sense of confidence knowing that your thumb is either over the power button specifically or the volume rocker. They have a slightly different texture. You've also got a very loud speaker, one of the loudest that I've ever tested. Unfortunately, there's not stereo speakers on here, but the mono speaker that you do have is very, very loud. So if you're listening to podcasts like I do while cooking, for example, in the kitchen, there's more than enough volume here to allow you to walk around and still hear that podcast without the need for an external speaker. The back portion here, this plastic panel, is a major fingerprint magnet. Not a huge deal because on Moto Maker you can customize this thing and choose between a number of different colors and textures, including real leather and real wood and real bamboo. So I would recommend using Moto Maker and getting something a little more spiffy than the stock plastic black. Another cool thing about this device is not just that you can customize the appearance of it, but you can also pick a pure version. What does that mean to you? It means you can buy it outright and use it on any carrier you want, completely unlocked. For example, you could use a carrier like Simple Mobile. The reason I bring them up is because they sent me a SIM card to test out with the new Moto X. So I did a couple of LTE speed tests and was actually quite impressed with the results, especially given the data price, the price of data on Simple Mobile, as well as unlimited voice and a few other things that they offer up. But the reason I'm mentioning that in general is because rather than lock yourself into a contract with one of the big carriers, having the Pure Edition Moto X allows for you to bounce around, pick the best service at the best time, the best speeds, the best price, etc. You're not locked in, and that to me is a much better scenario. So get the Pure Edition if you can. The camera, not the best in the world, unfortunately. Like a number of cameras that are out there right now, it has a lot of difficulty producing great images for sites like Instagram. I'm a big Instagram user. If you don't follow me there, go and check me out. The name is Unbox Therapy. But once this gets processed on the phone itself, and then it gets processed through the Android Instagram app, unfortunately things end up looking garbled. So you're not gonna get the best results. You're not gonna get results like the iPhone 6 or 6 Plus. And this camera also sort of requires optimal lighting conditions to get even close. In low light, it starts to expose some of its deficiencies. I talked a little bit about the design here, and it's important because this is a larger phone. It's not phablet big, but it's bigger than a lot of phones that are on the market or a lot of phones that are out there in the wild that people own. It's 5.2 inches, putting it somewhere between, say, a regular iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus, which is huge. But because it's curved on the back, it fits the contour of your hand very nicely. So if you're looking for something in the middle, something in the in-between, this might be the device for you. It still maintains a nice 5.2 inch display, which is fairly high pixel density, and it's beautiful to look at. Battery life has been, I would say, average. It's shifted a little bit depending on what I'm doing. I have it paired to the Moto 360. So there's some cool stuff that happens there, which allows me to unlock the device without a passcode, but having to have this watch in the proximity. I think that's a really cool feature, at least to me. There's a couple of things that have stuck out to me over this extended usage period that are a little bit concerning. And this is the kind of stuff that I feel like it wouldn't have popped out had I tried to do a review 2 weeks after the device came out. Right now, recently, the buttons have started sticking. So as much as I love this texture that exists on the power button, the volume rocker has been sticking in the down position mostly, also in the up position sometimes. Sometimes I'll pull it out of my pocket and the button I won't be able to press it. Look, I'm getting a notification right now. I won't be able to press it down, or when I do press it down, it'll stay down and the volume will go all the way, even though my intention was just to put it down 1 point. I'm not sure exactly what's happening, if it's the way this is machined and if it's too tight in there. That's what I would assume is the issue. But I'm a little concerned that it might get worse, because it has been getting worse, at least until this point. So we'll have to wait and see, and I'll update you guys. You can ask me about it on Twitter. Now, since the Nexus 6, for example, is going to carry forward a lot of this design language, in fact, it's just a scaled up version, I'm a little concerned for that device as well, which I don't have yet, but I'll be checking it out once I do. So again, it's not a perfect phone by any means. It's exhibiting a couple of little problems. It hasn't bent in half yet. So far, it's been an awesome experience. Even though there are some drawbacks here, the software is what has carried it forward for me. I really, really enjoy something close to stock Android. And right now, at least pre-Nexus 6, this is a great sort of interim device. And also, maybe you don't want something as big as the Nexus 6. I know for me, that's a little bit on the larger side of what I would like to carry around day to day. This one, I can still do one-handed usage very easily with. So I don't know, that's gonna be up to you to decide which one is more suitable. Anyway guys, that wraps up this discussion on the new Moto X. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this style. As I said before, I wanted to do something that has a lot more to do with the actual ownership, what the experience is like, and isn't so much about the specifications, which you can find on their website. So hopefully you appreciated this, and if you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Other than that, I guess that wraps it up. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Later. How long was that?
Exactly 8 minutes.